All right, race fans, welcome to TurnLeftTV. Be ready for some high-speed action tonight. Step on the gas. All right, race fans, welcome to the Glen. This is TurnLeftTV, and I'm your host, Heath Johnson. The High Octane Racing League GT3 Series is in action at Watkins Glen, a great American road course located in New York. 50-minute race here, and it's race number 6 of that season. Who's going to take home this victory tonight, man? We got a pretty tight points battle. And this track, not hugely technical, but a heck of a lot of fun, and expect some high speeds and tight racing. It's Watkins Glen, and it's live right here on TurnLeftTV. Well, the GT3 boys are in action at Watkins Glen, a little upstate New York, 50-minute race, the GT3 Series, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Hang on, boys and girls. Let's get it on. All right, hey, thank you so much for coming in here to TurnLeftTV. We got a good one here for you tonight at Watkins Glen. A lot of fun headed your way. These guys are in the qualification session. Got a little bit of a light field here tonight. Might have some more people join during the warm-up session. Again, hey, thank you so much for coming in. I'm your commentator, your broadcaster, Heath Johnson. 50-minute race, round number 6 of 8. And again, the GT3 Series at Watkins Glen. We'll take a look at the track here at Watkins Glen. This configuration is really the NASCAR configuration. You got the bus stop, also called the chicane, and it really is a fast track. 2.454 miles. 11 turns and flat out, man. A lot of fun. Not a hugely technical track, but a heck of a lot of fun here. So should be a lot of fun here with these guys here tonight, man. They got a good field. Some really strong cars out tonight. And expect a lot of excitement. I want to say thank you so much for coming in and joining me here on the YouTube channel. Peace to everybody out there. Hope everybody's being safe, being kind to one another, enjoying the month of August. And it's a hot one here in the United States. We had a little bit of cooler weather today, but man, this last week has been crazy hot. And again, thank you so much for coming in tonight. GT3 Series. A fun track at Watkins Glen. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, I encourage you to do so. Where is it at? It's right over, where is it? It's right there. I've changed my spot on this thing here, so I can't find it anymore. Everything's reversed. But hit that subscribe button. Please hit that thumbs up button. Let me know you're here. And don't forget to go down to the description of this race if you're interested in purchasing something through Fanatec and follow that link over there. That would help me out a great deal. Even if you're not purchasing anything, please visit that and give those guys a look. I've got the DD1 wheelbase, V3 inverted pedals, the BMW GT2 wheel rim, and the shifter, and love it, man. I started off with the V3 inverted pedals, and I was like, this thing is sick, man. And decided to pony up some cash and buy the DD1 wheelbase, and I wanted something a little bit sort of GT3 and also NASCAR, stock car stuff, and it would work all the way around. So decided to get that BMW GT2 wheel rim, and love it. It's got plenty of buttons for me and a good right size, and really do like that. So and I love the force feedback of that that DD1 rim. So hey, thanks for coming in. Please help me out there and click on that link. So what looks like qualification session is over. Now in the warm-up session, so we'll take a look at the session results here in the qualification session. Lucas Symphony, top time 107.404. Dennis Yashenko, 107.528. Pedro Gomez, third in quals, 107.616. Dennis Vandeven, fourth, 107.637. Andre Rousseau, fifth in the qualification session. We'll start in P5 with a 7.89. Will Dunbar, 108.334. Claudio Bardelli Jr., seventh with a 108.0603. You see Spencer Romo, eighth. Dan Richter, ninth, and Stephen Miller rounding out that top 10. Tonight's race is brought to you by EliteHostingUSA.com. Not only here in the United States, but EliteHostingUSA.com can provide you with 3 self-managed server packages in your region of the world. If you're interested in an rFactor 2 server for your league, one you're using not happy, or you're starting up a new league, you want to give it a shot, contact EliteHostingUSA.com. Set you up with a package there. That's who provides our servers, and we have rock-solid servers. Coming up later tonight, Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the Saturday Night Thunder. Race number 7 of that season. The Cup Cars at Indy, the crown jewel of motorsports. Taking a look at the schedule here in the GT3 series. So we got just 2 races to go after tonight. Watkins Glen tonight, short with the chicane configuration. Hockenheim Ring on August the 21st. And then finish out the season at Spa. So what's that points championship look like coming into tonight's race? Well, Nikolai Bezhikov, 174 points, couldn't be here this weekend. So he's got a 2-point lead over Dennis Yashenko. Will Dunbar sits third in points. Pedro Gomez fourth. Spencer Romo, you see him fifth in points. Antti Rossi, Michael Brooks, Lucas Simpler, Javier Conti, and Alexander Zakharov rounding out the top 10. So about 6.5 minutes, just a little over 6.5 minutes left to go. We'll talk about the keys to the race. Say drive the bus. We call that chicane the bus stop. And that is the most technical portion of the track. And a lot of things can go cattywampus or haywire in that section of the track. So got to make sure you hit your marks there in the bus stop section. As you see that right there, those guys going through the bus stop. So can be a very challenging section of the track, especially if you're trying to make passes and try to get around somebody. Easy to miss your marks there and get off track and into the grass. Fuel management. There was some discussion about how much fuel to take, and That's definitely going to be one you need to pay attention to as fuel manager. Don't overdrive this track. It is an easy track, in my opinion, and compared to a lot of the road courses, this is a fairly easy configuration. And I think it's easy to overdrive this. And I got tires, period, tires. I forgot to make that a comma. But man, save the tires. Really, you want to manage your tires. You don't want to use those up and really hurt yourself late in the run. So these guys do have to make a 4-tire change, and they have to change to a different compound in the race. So that's something to look for. So there'll be some strategy there on maybe going out on softs, maybe going to mediums, or vice versa, and see what's going on with that. So be interesting. So those are the keys, my keys to the race. I'm going to make my pick to win this race. Who I think is going to win this race. So my pick to win this race is going to be Dennis Van de Ven. He's in the Corvette using some American muscle. That's who I think is going to win it. So that's my pick. I'm not rooting for anybody in particular, but my pick is Dennis Van de Ven to win this race here at the Glen. Well, we'll see who won that race last week. That was, let me guess, Denis Yushchenko in the rain. Andre Rousseau finished in second, Bezhikov third, Caruso finished fourth, Dennis Van de Ven finishes in the fifth position last week at Road Atlanta. It was a nasty race, a lot of rain, tough to drive, but Denis Yushchenko in the Audi came away with the victory, so congratulations to him. Can he win another one? He's got a little work cut out for him, that's for sure. So I think probably a few more drivers in play at this race, given that the track is really not that technical. It's going to lend itself to adding some drivers that are in the mix there, maybe for a race win. The High Octane Racing League Bushwhacker Series will crown the champion of season number 3 at Atlanta Motor Speedway next week, August the 20th. And it'll be broadcast live right here on TurnLeftTV. We had a great one at Indy last night, and this one can be living up to the same hype, I think. Atlanta Motor Speedway, a lot of fun, 100 laps there. And of course, it'll be live on TurnLeftTV on Friday, August the 20th. Claudio Bardelli Jr. Being a little funny here in the chat session. Says his pick to win the race is Heath Johnson, the broadcaster. All right, man. All right. I like that. I think I'd be in the Ferrari. My kind of car. Anybody has an extra Ferrari they'd like to send me, I am more than willing to take that one off your hands. We'll say good luck to Claudio Bardelli Jr. here tonight. Snyder just gets in any car and drives it, man. He did a great job and got a huge win last night in the Bushwhacker Series at Indy, and what an exciting race it was. A little messy at the beginning, but man, that thing, what it made up for it for the second half of that race was extremely exciting. So we'll see if he can't do well here tonight in the GT3 Series. All right, looks like we are ready to get after it here. Watkins Glen, 50-minute race in the GT3 Series tonight.
Attention grid, all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
All right, the starting order here in the GT3 Series. Lucas Senfter starts in P1 in the 21 car. Dennis Yashenko second. Pedro Gomez third. Dennis Vandeven will start in the fourth position. Starting in fifth is Andre Rousseau in that 22 car. Will Dunbar starts in sixth. Claudio Bardelli Jr. seventh. Spencer Romo will start in the eighth position. Starting in ninth is Dan Richter. And starting in 10th will be Stephen Miller. We have a rolling start here. It'll be double file start. See Lucas Senfter in the 21. It will start in P1. Yashenko also in an Audi. A couple Audis there. Looks like three Audis. 1, 2, 3. Pedro Gomez also in an Audi in the 05 car. Starting in the third position. Vandeven in the Corvette will start in P4, it looks like. All right, here we go, man. Coming off the final turn, the pace car lights are out off the track, and here we go. Getting ready to get started here at Watkins Glen.
Blue flag, go, go, go.
And we're off. Couple Audis there, side by side to start this race out. Dennis Vandeven on that inside looks like he's in now P3. Hard into turn one. A lot of room here in turn one. That is good, man. It looks like everybody pretty much gets through there clean. Looks like we might have a little bit of contact, but not too bad. Coming up through the S's. Set yourself up for that Short shoot, Lucas Simpson now back to the third position. We'll take a look at Denis Shashenko, who's come out to the race lead. Take a look at Vandeven's already up to P2 in the Corvette. Saying, hey man, I can drive one of these American cars. Vandeven coming off turn 10 around turn 11. Take a look at Will Dunbar swinging that car wide there in that Audi, that Salesforce-sponsored Audi number 88. Right now running in P9. Stephen Miller is in 10th. Take a look at this pass here with Claudio Bardelli Jr. getting around Andre Rousseau. Bardelli Jr. running in the 5th position. Andre Rousseau is in 6th. Lucas Simpson there running in P3. Pedro Gomez just behind him in P4. So Yushenko continuing to lead the field. Everybody's sort of behaving here right now. Take a look at Andre Rousseau in the McLaren, and he's running in the 6th position, all over the back. Claudio Bardelli Jr.'s Ferrari. Spencer Romo just behind him in the 7th spot. Coming into the bus stop, this is an area where a lot of guys will try to make passes. I personally do not think it's a very good place to try to make a pass here, but hey, what do I know, man? Get some word that Stephen Miller might have came around here. We'll see what happened to him. He spins that car. He gets off into the, that was kind of an interesting place to have some trouble, but it looks like he got off track, got in the grass there a little bit, and touched the curb there, and then he spins that car, that Audi coming around, but doesn't look like he hit too much, so he might be okay. Andre Rousseau here making a move on Claudio Bardelli Jr. The Ferrari and the McLaren racing into turn 1. The McLaren on the outside. Andre Rousseau trying to make a pass and clear that Ferrari. Looks like he does, so you look out of the back of his car, I think, eventually. There we go. And I'll tell you what, man, Claudio Bardelli Jr. Oh! Claudio Bardelli Jr. and Spencer Romo get together. And Bardelli Jr. in the wall. Spencer Romo keeps that car straight through the bus stop, and looks like that Bardelli Jr. might have lost a few spots there. We'll take a look at this again here. This is Spencer Romo in the Porsche, and you see there's contact, a little contact right there. Spencer Romo in the Porsche, he's going to try to get by, and things are going to get tight here coming off this turn right there, man. And then Bardelli Jr. into the wall, but keeps that car straight. Will Dunbar getting by. Oh no, looks like Lucas Simpson and Dennis Vandeven have gotten together. We'll see what happened here. Dennis Vandeven, watching him in the Corvette. Oh, he just loses the back end of that right there. You see Pedro Gomez gets by, but Lucas Simpson absolutely annihilates him. And this Corvette there going for a ride. Lucas Simpner straight into, straight into Dennis Vandeven's machine. Watch this, Dennis Vandeven. You see him coming around. Luca has nowhere to go. Oh, man. And then Vandeven. Wow, man, Vandeven getting that car righted up here. Look at this. You can see that unfolding right there in front of Andre Rousseau. And then those guys doing a great job of getting by. So going back to live here as Denis Yashchenko is the race leader. Pedro Gomez in second, Andre Rousseau third, Spencer Romo is in the fourth position. Dan Richter is fifth. We don't talk too much about Dan Richter here tonight in that Ferrari, running in P5. Did a good job of avoiding some earlier contact there between Claudio Bardelli Jr. and Spencer Romo. On board here with Dan Richter as he's trying to work on the back of Spencer Romo's Porsche. Right now, good job there for him running in P5. Bardelli Jr. back there in the Ferrari in P6. Look at Spencer Romo in this Porsche. Pretty no nonsense for him other than that contact a little bit with Claudio Bardelli Jr. And, he was the one that came out a little bit better on that deal. So Spencer Romo right now running in the fourth position. Dan Richter is in fifth. Lucas Simpner getting that thing straightened back up here, trying to make some passes, and his teammate, number 88, Will Dunbar, goes wide there in turn one. Lucas Simpner in the Audi also going to get by there in the 21. As he gets by his teammate. Those guys working together a little bit. Bardelli Jr. says, I want to get that spot back. Spencer Romo has some trouble, but also Dan Richter had some trouble there too. I don't know whether those guys had some contact or what. We'll see what happened here. Coming into the bus stop, Dan Richter in the Ferrari, Spencer Romo in the Porsche. And I don't know what happened, man. Those guys just both missed. I don't know whether it was a server hitch or what, but let's take a look at this again. A little bit different angle. Coming in here. Oh, Richter gets into the curb right there. Something happened there. I don't know with him, but Spencer Romo just misses the curb, and then Dan Richter spins, doesn't get in anything. Man, that was just weird. Again, just a weird deal right there. We'll go on board here with him. Oh, he hit the wall right there. He clipped the wall. Maybe Spencer Romo was watching him out of the back of his car. He ends up losing a spot. As Bardelli Jr. slips through. Watch this, on board here with Bardelli Jr. You see Richter there having trouble. Spencer Romo off the track. And then right there, Bardelli Jr. picks up 2 spots and says, thank you very, very much. Take a look at Andre Rousseau here running in P3. 40 minutes left to go. He's now running in the third position, about 10 seconds back to the race leader. Denis Yashchenko continuing to lead. He's got a 2.8 second lead over Pedro Gomez. Gomez running in P2 in the Bentley. He's been strong with this Bentley this season. So that 22 car looking pretty solid here tonight in the Bentley. 3.1 seconds behind the race leader. So the race leader, Denis Yashchenko, continuing to stretch out that race lead right now. Check out Dennis Vandeven. He's got a whole lot of Lucas Simpner to deal with. Remember, those guys had contact where Vandeven came around, came back across the track. Lucas Simpner just straight into the door. Those guys there still tight on the track. Here's Vanderven in the Corvette. Simpner running in the 7th position. So Vanderven has seemed like he's recovered there a little bit. He is running in P7, P8. Look at that, right there. Got a good tight run, and it looked like Simpner was going to try to get around him. Passed him for just a second, not able to complete the pass, but have to tuck back into P8. So looking at P7, P8 right there. Stephen Miller back out on track after finishing his pit stop, coming through the chicane here on board with that Audi of Stephen Miller, the 42 car. Speed Details sponsor machine. Got a little lap traffic as he's already made that pit stop. Will Dunbar going to put Stephen Miller down another lap. Stephen Miller is 3 laps down as Will Dunbar makes that pass, not for position. Again, looking at Denis Yushenko. Now that time has diminished somewhat, about 2.8 seconds now. P1, P2. P3 now almost 12 seconds back in Andre Rousseau in that 22 car. Bardelli Jr. in 4th, 17.5 seconds back. And in the 5th position is Spencer Romo, about 19.5 seconds back. Lucas Simpner in this Audi continuing to hound Dennis Vanderven. Just ahead is Dan Richter. All those guys are running pretty tight together. That's 6th, 7th, and we're on board with P8. Lucas Simpner in the Audi. Simpson got a little bit of run on Vanderven. Does he have what he needs to be able to sort of pull off this pass coming down the front stretch? Not so far, so been a little patient there, maybe saving some stuff. He goes a little bit wide in that overrun area. Give him a little bit exit, a little bit better run up this hill and around this S curve. You can take a look at Andre Rousseau in the McLaren. A little cloudy today, these guys, man. He said it's a little bit hard to see. It's cloudy. Kind of hard to see for us, too. So, cloudy conditions. No rain in the forecast. And Andre Rousseau running in P3. Dan Richter in the Ferrari on board here with him. Oh, no, Dan Richter coming around. Dan Richter coming around, and that's going to give those spots, or that spot, to 2 drivers there as Lucas Simpner and Dennis Vanderven both get by. See right here, let's see what happened to, see Richter right there coming around. And Vanderven gets by. Lucas Simpner also making a by. On board here with Simpner, see Richter going around right there. Simpner getting by. No nonsense right now for Denis Yushenko, although that lead has diminished to 2.5 seconds. Gomez is on the move in the Bentley. Shinko in the Audi, maybe saving a little fuel, maybe saving some tires. Lead has definitely diminished from 3 seconds down to 2.4, 2.5 range. We'll say 2.5 for good measure. On board here with our P2 driver, Pedro Gomez. Comes around turn 10. A little bit of an adjustment there. And turn 11. Back down that front stretch. It's about 2.5 seconds down, so that's what 2.5 seconds looks like on the track. Will Dunbar in the Audi, number 88 car. Running in the 8th position. Just behind him on the track is Stephen Miller, who was 3 laps down. Dan Richter spun his Ferrari, now shown in the 9th position. In this battle here, Dennis Van de Ven and Lucas Simpner. So the sun come out here a little bit. It's getting a little bit brighter for these guys, at least in this area of the track. And Van de Ven has a whole lot of Lucas Simpner breathing down his neck right now. Take a look at Dennis Van de Ven's Corvette, that 84 car. Lucas Simpner back behind him in that pinstriped painted scheme, the Audi scheme. So the 21 and the 84 through the bus stop. On board here with Lucas Simpner. He is running in the 7th position. So remember, these guys got together earlier in the race. And I mean, a heck of a lot of contact. Lucas Simpner just drove right into a stalled number 84 car. He spun the car and he was sideways coming off turn 10. And Lucas Simpner could not make an adjustment and just slammed right into the side of that door, head on into the door. He is working on the back of this 84 car. So you've got a little bit of a boogered up race car, but nonetheless putting the pressure on the 84. And look at that, Lucas Simpner going to the inside. He's going to try to get around. He can't do it. Coming into the bus stop. He was giving it a look. Spencer Romo's come around. See him getting going in the Porsche. We'll see what happened to him. Take a look at Spencer Romo and see what happened. He just touches the curb there a little bit, gets that bad exit out of the first little kink there in the bus stop, spins the car, gets into the tire barrier. Look at this another way. So watch this. He just touches this curb, and it really, he's a little bit more touching the curb. He was quite a bit on that, maybe a little bit in the grass, and it just causes that car to come around. Maybe a little bit too much speed there as well, and then smacks that tire barrier. Nonetheless, he gets back out on track. Spencer Romo is on pit lane, taking some service as we speak. So I think, I know Stephen Miller's come down pit lane, but that was certainly an unscheduled pit stop. This may actually fall within his window here as he makes a pit stop. Spencer Romo on pit lane here with 29 minutes left to go. We'll take a look at that Porsche as it takes some service. Take a look at Will Dunbar here in the 88 car. He's running in the 7th position. So pit stops take a long time here. Limited pit crew compared to what you might see in stock cars. Spencer Romo finishing up, coming back out in the 9th position. He's got a little work to do in that Porsche. Pedro Gomez. Oh, Pedro Gomez, the back end of that car's coming around. Oh, man. Pedro Gomez, man, he almost had that saved. That thing was just crazy coming around there for him. And he retires his machine. He retires his machine right there. I mean, he got just frustrated, I think, and he smacks the wall and retires his car. So what a shocking change right there as Pedro Gomez was running in the 2nd position. Look at this, the back end of the car coming around. He's trying to catch this, and he ends up in the wall right here. Oh, my heavens, man. And he has retired his machine. That is too bad. Frustrated, Pedro Gomez. That brings Andre Rousseau up to P2. Bardelli Jr. now in 3rd. Vandeven is in the 4th position. Sintler now in 5th. Just a little over 27 minutes left to go. So Pedro Gomez having trouble. At about minute 28. Thing just looked like he just tried to catch it, and he almost went too far. I guess he did go too far, and the thing came around and smacked the wall. Coming off turn 11. Pretty flawless race so far for Denis Shushenko. Now that gives him a little bit more of a buffer. He's got a 19-second lead over P2. Dan Rickard just ahead of him in the Ferrari. Dan wants to stay on that lead lap. He's got some damage, so Shushenko running out of racetrack right there almost. Richter moves over, gives him some room in turn 1. Take a look at Denis Shushenko at the wheel of his Audi. All business right now for Denis Shushenko. Nobody in that postal code. Got a 20-second lead over Andre Rousseau. Claudio Bardelli Jr. is our lead Ferrari. He is running in 3rd. Pretty good run here for him. 28 seconds down to the race leader. Got about 8.5 or so before P2. So like I said, Bardelli Jr. got a big win last night in the stock cars at Indianapolis, and it was a fuel mileage race, man. We had a little bit of a messy race at the beginning. Got that worked out, had long green flag runs, green flag pit stops, and it was really a fuel save strategy. And guys were pitting a little bit different time, trying to play that chess piece. And Bardelli Jr., fortunate for him that Christian Wilson, who was leading the race, ran out of gas. Bardelli Jr. had to battle for it a little bit, was able to hold on for the race win. So a big race win there for the 91 last night in the Bushwhacker Series. That is on YouTube if you want to watch that race. Very interesting into that race. Say the last 20 laps was just amazing. So coming off a big race win, now running in P3. Andre Rousseau just ahead of him in the 2nd position. About 8 seconds separate those two guys. Andre is 22 seconds off the race lead. Dennis Vandeven and Lucas Sempner here battling it out. Dennis Vandeven running in P4, Lucas Sempner running in the 5th position. About half a second separate the two of these guys. On board here with Dennis Vandeven in the Corvette. So he goes through the bus stop. He's got Lucas Sempner breathing down his neck as we find that camera angle. Stephen Miller climbing up the grid there with the retirement of Pedro Gomez. He is running in P9 in that Audi number 42. Andre Rousseau, I think, is on pit lane as Claudio Bardelli Jr. watching him, and I think Rousseau on pit lane. That does look like the case. You see the P5, P6 machine of Andre Rousseau, the McLaren, on pit lane as Will Dunbar makes that pass on the track. Now moves up to the 5th position. And again, pit stops really do take a long time in the GT3 series because you do have a limited crew. Seems like an eternity, especially when you're used to running stock cars where pit stops are going to be somewhere in the 13, 14, 15 second range. You see Andre Rousseau coming back out on track here in P7. Well, Dennis Yashenko has a 31-second lead over Bardelli Jr. now with Rousseau making his pit stop. Dennis Yashenko still going to have to make that pit stop, and no nonsense here for him. Bardelli Jr. second, Sempner is third. Vandeven in the 4th position. And that is a position that just changed. As we see this pass here for, see Vandeven coming around right there as Sempner makes his way through. On board, you see Dennis Vandeven spinning that car. Sempner does a great job through turn 1, getting wide and missing this spinning Corvette. Not sure what happened. I think he just missed the entry of this turn. Look at this thing. It just, right there, man. Just didn't want to turn, and then it starts wanting to turn, and he can't stop it. Take a look at Will Dunbar here at the 88 car. He's running in P5. The 88 Salesforce sponsored Audi. Vandeven on pit lane, taking some service as we watch Will Dunbar. So the Corvette, the lone Corvette in the field on pit lane. So again, those pit stops take a long, long time. So Dennis Yashenko is in cruise mode. There are 20 minutes left to go. He still needs to make a pit stop, but he is definitely on cruise control. Nobody even close to him. 33-second gap between P1 and P2. Getting some more that Will Dunbar is going to be coming down pit lane here. So we'll watch him as he comes around turn 10. Crew getting ready for that pit stop. Shoot through that little short straight there, and now down. Get about pit road speed here, getting that speed limiter going. He's coming down pit lane, that long, long uphill here at Watkins Glen. There's a little bit of a crest there, and then you got a downhill. We get to see a lot of people who do speed. Now this series has a speed limiter. See Van Niven back out on track in the Corvette. Yushenko's on pit lane, so our race leader is on pit lane. Dunbar, Richter both on pit lane as well. And that gives the race lead to Claudio Bardelli Jr. Can he make it 2 in a row? Yushenko gets caught speeding on pit lane, has to come back down pit lane and do a drive-through or stop and go. We got a whole new ball game. Claudio Bardelli Jr. getting a few laps led here in the Ferrari. Sifter running in P2 in the Audi, the number 21 car. Team Lucas sponsor machine. Bardelli Jr. is coming down pit lane in the Ferrari. And that's going to give the race lead, I believe, to Lucas Sifner. See, Sifner like to use that overrun area to way wide and gets him a good exit so he can attack these turns right here. Get as much speed as he can. Now that Yushenko has returned to the track, we're seeing him in P2. Bardelli Jr. on pit lane. Got to be thinking he may have made some changes to that Ferrari. Coming back out on track. We see Dennis Yushenko now in the second position. We'll jump back up here with Lucas Sifner as Lucas Sifner peels off the track to come down pit lane in the Audi. And that's going to give the race lead, I believe, to Dennis Yushenko. Once it's all said and done, we'll take a look at this Audi. So Yushenko is back to the race lead as Lucas Sifner is on pit lane. Andre Rousseau shown in the third position will probably end up taking second. We'll see how it shakes out. Bardelli Jr. currently fourth. Romo is in fifth. Got 4 guys 1 lap down or more. Van Niven, Dunbar, Richter, and Miller. And then Pedro Gomez is out of the race in the 10th position. We'll finish in P10. So we got 15 minutes left to go. And it looks like Dennis Yushenko is on his way to another victory. And that would propel him up to the points lead, I believe. Rousseau now in second, 27.5 seconds down, 28 seconds down. In the McLaren. Bardelli Jr. in third, Sifner fourth, Romo is fifth. Rest of the cars 1 lap down or more. What a shame there for Pedro Gomez. You know, he was driving the Bentley and the thing just got away from him and he slammed into the wall. And I think he just got frustrated and decided to retire his machine. Probably had a lot of damage he was going to be dealing with. Didn't feel like driving that car. Situation where he was going to be uncomfortable all evening long. Take a look at Stephen Miller here running in the 9th position in the 42 car. Been a pretty quiet night here for him. He had some trouble early, but since then sort of recovered somewhat and focused back on the track, but he is 3 laps down in the 9th spot. So he's going to need a lot of help here to gain another spot. Those guys ahead of him 2 laps ahead. So he's got some work to do. The good thing for him is it's not a huge field, and he is in the 9th position. So he's looking to, he can't finish any lower than 9th. He wants to gain a couple more spots, maybe even get a top 5. He's going to need a heck of a lot of help for that. Take a look at Dan Richter here running in P8. Just behind him is Stephen Miller. But Stephen is 3 laps down. Dan Richter only 1 lap down. So Dan's got a little bit of work to do. About a 9-second gap between he and P7. Spencer Romo indicating that he's going to let Dennis Yashenko go by. So Spencer doing the gentleman-like thing and letting the race leader go by and even communicating where he was going to let him pass and give him an easier way to get around so he doesn't push that car to get around the lap car of Spencer Romo. Spencer Romo in the Porsche now in the 5th position. Take a look at Dennis Vandeven and see where he's at. He's running in P6. And only about 13 seconds between he and P5, so still working on maybe a good top 5 finish here, but he is 1 lap down. So Yashenko has made a pit stop, but he's got a huge race lead on the field. Will Dunbar here in the 88 car. Going to take a look at this slick paint scheme he did. The High Octane Racing League logo, and he's got a little tribute to the fallen friends there. 11 is Steve Freeze, long-time member since 2001 of High Octane Racing League. He lost his battle with cancer in 2011, and then 41 is Lauren Stoppleworth, and he passed away earlier this year suddenly. And one of our true heroes there, the 41 as well. So Will Dunbar paying tribute to some High Octane Racing League drivers who have passed away. And we'll have a Steve Freeze Memorial Race at Michigan International Speedway coming up later this year. Annual race we run in honor of Steve Freeze. And you might check out some, last year we had some prizes too we gave away to the drivers of the race. Couple $10 gift cards for Steam, and then also I believe we did a $30 prize for the race winner. So who knows, we'll switch it up this year. It's the first year we've actually offered prizes. It's sort of one of our ways to sort of just give back to the drivers that dedicate their their weekends and weekdays and whatever racing in our league. It's just an appreciation, a thanks to say, hey, thank you very much. We know Steve Freeze would greatly enjoy that if he were here with us, and we do what we can to honor his name. He meant so much to us. I know, I started with High Octane Racing League, was founded in 2001. I started doing some pickup races with him on Saturday nights in 2001, and before you know it, we're doing points and forming some race leagues for some series It's certain nights to race, Friday and Saturdays, a little bit of Sundays as well. And I knew Steve very well, and he was definitely a very huge inspiration for me and very helpful in helping me get started in sim racing too. I'd raced a little bit offline, but getting online and racing was a huge, huge leap for me. And Steve Freeze was there every step of the way to help me out. And we definitely miss him a lot here at High Octane Racing League. So Dennis Yashenko there with under 10 minutes left to go. Actually, under 9 minutes left to go. It's a big race lead. No change in some positions right now. Everybody's sort of where they are. Pretty comfortable where they are. And this is Andre Rousseau. He is running in the second position in that 22 McLaren. Looking to be a pretty good night here for him, barring any catastrophes. He has no reason to overdrive this car now. He's got a pretty solid finish here facing him. Bardelli Jr., we talked about him winning last night in the stock cars, and here he is out here in the Ferrari. This guy just loves to race, man. I see him not only racing in rFactor 2, but he also does some other sims as well. Watching his YouTube channel, he's got a great little YouTube channel where he broadcasts his races from the cockpit. So in that Ferrari, doing pretty well. Running in P3, how about that? Coming off a race win, and then jumping in the GT3 series and getting a third place finish. He's got a little work to do, maintain that, but looking pretty solid here for Bardelli Jr. Under 10 seconds gap between he and P2. Luca Simpner, I tell you what, man, I want to send a shout out to Luca. He does a lot of sort of monitoring our Discord during the day. You know, I know Will and myself, we're busy with work, and he monitors the Discord channel and answers a lot of questions, and he does a great job. Also does some race reviews for us, and always a really helpful young man. One of our young gun drivers, 17-year-old driver from Canada. This guy can flat out set up a car and drive just anything you put him in. So right now he's got a fourth place car, and we're keeping in mind that he had some pretty hard contact with Dennis Van de Ven earlier. I mean, straight into the door, and he's made the best of it, now running in P4. Speaking of Dennis Van de Ven, he's now back to the 6th position. We'll take a look at Spencer Romo up to 5th. And that Porsche. So it looks like he might be our lone Porsche in the field today. We've got a couple Ferraris. Take a look at Dennis Van de Ven in the Corvette, the lone Corvette in the field. He had hard contact. He got slammed in the door. He spun out in turn 10 and perpendicular across the track. Simpher came around turn 10 and had nowhere to go and straight into the door of the Corvette here, driven by Dennis Van de Ven. Van de Ven 7 seconds behind Spencer Romo here as we're about 5.5 minutes from the race end. Will Dunbar here keeps plugging away. And right now running in P7 in that Audi and looking to, get a really good finish. Remember, he comes in tonight in the points battle. We'll take a look at his points battle here a little bit. Is Will Dunbar 3rd in points. Now, he's got a little bit of work to do to try to get the Yashenko and Bezrikov. And with the night that Yashenko's having here, not going to work out, I don't think, for him. But I'll tell you, with Bezrikov not being here tonight, Will Dunbar might move up to the 2nd position. We'll see how that points work out for him. So the 88 has a 7th place car so far tonight with about 4.5 minutes left to go. This is Dan Richter in the Ferrari. Looks like he's sort of limping that thing around a little bit, being very gingerly with it. as he might be kind of worn out those tires. Some of the guys might have taken some soft tires, and that can really turn out bite you here. He's really working that wheel. You see that car is pretty loose as it comes around the turn. So, and again, he might have a loose condition because he might have used up those tires a little bit. Stephen Miller just behind him, I believe. Actually, that is Bardelli Jr. just behind him. They are not on the same lap. Looking out of the front of Bardelli Jr.'s machine. He's running in the third spot. So the Audis have been pretty strong here tonight. We got a lot of guys driving Audis, and I think it was after the balance of performance that they did on this car, the guys really started saying, hey man, I want to get in this Audi. It seems like it's a little bit better. And Dennis Shashenko, one of the best here, really no matter what he drives, but decided to go with the Audi. A little bit of a challenge for him. I'm looking pretty solid here tonight. Huh? Big race win on his mantle here at Watkins Glen. On a 40-second lead over P2. So barring any huge catastrophes, I mean, it's going to have to be massive. Like volcanoes, floods, earthquakes, plagues, locusts. British soccer team. Oh my God, did I say that? Michael Brooks, you listening to me? Going to get some hate mail from Michael Brooks, I think, here later. So maybe the British soccer team joke. Football team. Zashenko just a little over 2 minutes away from a race victory here. Andre Rousseau second, Bardelli Jr. third. Simpner is fourth. Romo is fifth. I'm not heard anything out of Michael Brooks, so maybe he's not going to bed and sleeping now. So cruise control for the Audi. He's going to have one more lap. I suggest to you, actually, he might have even more laps than that. We're at 142. I think you're looking at somewhere on about a 109-ish lap. So he might have to do 2 more laps. The way this is going to shape out. Michael Brooks is monitoring me there. He's keeping me honest. Hey, I don't like football, man. I think I like soccer better than I do American football, to be honest with you. Michael Brooks trolling me right now. He's absolutely trolling me. I'll be honest with you, I am not an American football fan, but I would rather watch soccer or real football, as you say, any day of the week. And I think Yashenko is actually going to have to do another lap here. We got a late race pass, I believe, as well. Simpner getting around Bardelli Jr. This is a battle for the third position. Lucas Simpner in the Audi. Late race pass here over Claudio Bardelli Jr. So Simpner in the Audi moves up to P3. How about that, huh? Late race pass. We'll take a look at that again as Simpner sets him up and ends up getting around here. Taking over P3. Claudio Bardelli Jr. now back to P4. Shiko through the bus stop. Stephen Miller's had some trouble there too. Coming off turn 11. And that Audi coming around on him. And he gets into the wall right there when Pedro Gomez came around. And he ends up losing the spoiler there, it looks like. And he's probably going to end up retiring his machine. That is a lot of damage on that Audi for Stephen Miller here late in this race. Looks like he's on pit lane now, taking some service, so he's going to end up finishing in his pit box. Bardelli Jr. having some trouble late race here. Some of these guys may have taken some soft tires, and it looks like Denis Yashenko coming across the line to win this race. So congratulations to him. Will Dunbar, he might end up picking up, it looks like Dan Richards going to pick up a spot as Will Dunbar's come around here late in the race as well. Will Dunbar here spinning this car, coming off turn one, and spins, gets into the wall as Dan Richter slips through and picks up a spot. Oh my heavens, man. So Denis Yashenko getting the race win here. So what a run there for him. Another win for Denis Yashenko. I don't know what the secret is, but that guy's figured it out. That is for sure. So congratulations to Denis Yashenko. We'll take a look at the. We will take a look at the final results here. I think we will take a look at the final results. About this, Denis Yashenko gets the win. Andre Rousseau second. Lucas Symphony battles back and gets a third place finish, getting around Claudio Bardelli Jr. there on the last lap. Spencer Romo finishes in the fourth position. In the fifth position. Dennis Vandeven sixth. Will Dunbar finishes in seventh. Dan Richter finishes in the eighth position. Pedro Gomez finishes in the 10th position. So, Denis Yashenko. Oh, we got Road Atlanta trophy up there. What are we doing, man? There we go. Watkins Glen fixed that trophy. So, congratulations to Denis Yashenko. Well, good win there for him. Very, very solid effort for Denis. And, man, he just led from start to finish, didn't he? So definitely going to propel him up on the charts. And that Audi, and that team clicking on all cylinders. We got a pretty tight points battle heating up, and Yashenko looking pretty solid, I will say. Don't forget, a little bit later here, we have Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the Saturday Night Thunder. It's race number 7 of the season in the Cup cars. This should be a fun one, man. You're going to see a big field. We had a great big field last night in the Xfinity Series. So a lot of guys like IMS. This is the Oval. So Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the crown jewel of motorsports. 80 laps in the Saturday Night Thunder coming up at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I want to say thank you so much for coming in and watching me here on TurnLeftTV. Don't forget to subscribe. Got to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. And don't forget to smash the bell. All right. Hey, man, we got Richard Brooks in here too, man. Good to see Richard Brooks, Javier Conti, Givaldo Spindola joining us, Michael Brooks joining us in the chat session. So good to see them. But congratulations to Denis Yashenko on getting that race win. That's going to do it for us tonight here on TurnLeftTV. We will see you next week. And you know what that means. That means I am out of here.